Welcome to the session. Today I am explaining about the first PUC syllabus. Let to under animal kingdom, let us take up the fifth phylum, that is ask elements. Element, you are aware, the term element stands for worms. So these ASCII elements are represented by the round worms. ASCII elements are commonly called as the round worms. And majority of these round worms are the human parasites. Most of them are parasites. For example, Ascaris or the filarial worm or hookworm or even pinworm or whipworm, like that. All these are the ASCII elements and they are all human parasites. Majority of them are human parasites. Then they exhibit what? Organ system grade of organization. Remember, poriferans, cellular grade of organization. Remember, cellular in the sense they are with many cells but no tissues. Coelentrates, tissue grade of organization. There are tissues, no organs. Ctenophores, they are also tissue grade of organization as like coelentrates. Whereas platyelements, they are organ grade of organization. Organs are there but not organ system. So this is the phylum. From here afterwards, you observe all are organ system grade of organization, in the sense the organs are aggregated or grouped together or organized to form definite organ systems like excretory system, the circulatory system, a digestive system, etc. Now, the next is they are triploblastic animals. Triploblastic in the sense what? Presence of three layers in the body wall. Outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm and inner endoderm. What are these three layers? They are all primary germ layers, from which the tissues and organs are get derived or developed. Up to platyelements, they were the up to coelentrates or ctenophore, they were diploblastic. But platyelements onwards, triploblastic. Bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry in the sense, if the body is cut all along this antero-posterior axis like that, you will get two equal halves, as like our body. Where actually the bilateral symmetry appeared from platyelements onwards. Then pseudocoelomates, up to platyelements, all were acoelomate, that is without coelom. What do you mean by a coelom? Coelom is a body cavity present between the body wall and gut or alimentary canal. That is the coelom. What is pseudocoelomate? Pseudo stands for what? False. Pseudocoelomates in the sense, the coelom is present, but coelom is not lined by its own layer by name coelomic epithelium. Coelomic epithelium. Epithelium is nothing but a lining tissue or covering tissue. If at all the coelom is present, then it is coelomate, no doubt. But if the coelom is not lined by the coelomic epithelium, then such a condition can be called as pseudocoelom, and the animals are called pseudocoelomates. ASCII elements are only the one phylum which are the examples for pseudocoelomates. Now, the next salient feature is alimentary canal is very simple and complete. So simple in the sense that means here the digestive glands, much digestive glands are not present as like that of the other animals. Why? Because the majority of them are what? The parasites. These parasites feed upon the digested food of the host. Hence, much digestive glands. Excuse me. Much digestive glands are not required. Then, what is said to be the complete? Complete in the sense, the alimentary canal starts with mouth and then ended with anus at the opposite end. That is, the alimentary canal is simple and complete. The next is, the excretory organs are said to be the protonephridia. What are the excretory organs? Excretory organs are those which remove the excreta and even the excess of water from the body. What is excretion? It is nothing but the removal of the nitrogenous waste from the body. So the excretory organs are the structures which are involved in excretion. Not only excrete the nitrogenous waste, but also maintain what? Water balance in the body. Hence, whatever the excretory organs you find in any animal, it is always even maintain what? Osmoregulation or water balance in the body. In case of us, which are the excretory organs? Kidney. So kidneys are not only the excretory organs, they are also the osmoregulators. So which regulate water balance in the body. Here, that function is carried out by what? Protonephridia. Then, they are unisexual forms. The term unisexual in the sense, the individual possesses only one sex organ. That is either female sex organ or male sex organ. I hope you are aware the female sex organ is the ovary and the male sex organ is the testis. If at all any one of the sex organs, either ovary or testis is present, then the condition is called unisexual, or the other term is dioecious form. They also exhibit what? Sexual dimorphism. Remember. What do you mean by this term? Sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism means identification of the male and female individual by observing the external characters. That is the sexual dimorphism, what you can see even in human beings. For example, in case of the ask elements, so that is the male and the female ascaris. The ascaris is a common round worm, Jantulu, found in the small intestine of man, causing a disease called ascariasis. So here they are, as I said here, they are unisexual forms and sexual dimorphism can be seen. If we take the male ascaris, it is shorter than that of the female, and the posterior end of the male is bent like that of a hook with a pair of what? Copulatory spicules like this. This is the copulatory spicule. If we take the female, female is quite what? Longer like this. And then the posterior end is straight, not bent. By observing this hook-like structure at a posterior end, we can easily identify this is male. If at all the body is quite longer and straight, then it is called as the female. That is what is known as the sexual dimorphism. Identification of the male and female clearly. So, by observing what? External features or external characters. That is sexual dimorphism. Then, reproduction occurs sexually, not by asexual method. And of course, fertilization is purely internal. Internal fertilization in the sense the fusion of egg and sperm occurs inside the body of the female. That is internal fertilization. And the development very rarely direct, where there is no larva, but majority are what? The indirect development, where there is what? The larval stage. What do you mean by a larva? In one of my previous classes, I defined that term. Larva is an immature young one of an adult. For example, silkworm, what we rear for silk, is a larva of silk moth. Then, that is about the reproduction. The typical examples are Ascaris, which is a common round worm found in the small intestine of man. Filarial worm, that is Wuchereria bancrofti is the scientific name of that one. It lives in the blood vessels, causing a disease called elephantiasis, Hanikal Roga, elephantiasis. That causes the elephantiasis. Then the hookworm, Ankylostoma duodenale. Ankylostoma duodenale is another example for ask element, which is commonly known as the hookworm, and then it enters our body either through palm of the hand or sole of the foot like that, and it feeds upon what? The blood. These are the three typical examples for this ask elements. So with this, the phylum ask elements is completed. Now let us take up the next phylum by name, the phylum Annelida, which is the sixth one. What do you mean by the term Annelida? Annelida, that is, annulus means ring-like. Ring-like. Why it is ring-like? Because of the series of segments. The entire body is segmented. As the body is segmented, whenever the earthworm or the leech moves, so the body appears like that of rings. Hence the term, the Annelida is given. Now let us consider the salient features or the characteristic features of this phylum. Most of them are the aquatic, and then maybe terrestrial, for example, the earthworm. Nereid is an example for aquatic, where it lives in marine water body. For terrestrial, we can take the example of earthworm, and may lead what? Free life. For example, the Nereid or even the earthworm lead free life. Or parasites. The typical example is the leech, Gygne. That is a parasite, blood-sucking parasite. And then, as like ask elements, they exhibit what? organ system grade of organization. That means organs are organized to form the different organ systems like digestive system, circulatory, excretory system, etc. Then, metamerism. What do you mean by a metamerism? For example, this is the body of an earthworm. The entire body is having segments up to about 200 based upon the length of the body. The segments are found sequentially all along the length of the body. So this is the true segmentation. Such a segmentation can be called as what? Metamerism. What is the true segmentation? True segmentation in the sense, this segment can be seen both externally and internally. That is what is known as true segmentation. The segments should be seen both externally and internally. For example, in platyelements like the tapeworm, the segments are false segments, that is called proglatids. Here the segmentation can be seen only externally, not internally, and hence it was a false segmentation. Here the segmentation can be seen both externally and internally, and hence it is called as a true segmentation, or even called as metamerism. Then, as like Ascalemus, triploblastic in nature. That means the body wall is lined by 3 layers: outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm, and inner endoderm. And then bilateral symmetry. That is, if the body is cut all along the antero-posterior axis, we are going to get 2 equal halves. And then these are the eucoelomates, particularly eucoelomates. What do you mean by eucoelomates? Presence of coelom, then the animal is called coelomate. If at all coelom is not lined by the coelomic epithelium, then it is pseudocoelomate. If at all a coelom is lined by the coelomic epithelium, then it is called true coelomate or eucoelomate. Remember, from annelid onwards, all phyla are examples for what? Eucoelomates. Then, the locomotory organs which help in locomotion are setae. So, the setae are almost the S or F-shaped structure, so which are helpful in locomotion, particularly found in earthworm. Or parapodia. Para means side. Parapodia, not pseudopodia. Parapodia, which are found on the lateral side of the body. For example, in the nereis, that is helpful in locomotion. Or totally absent. For example, the leech. In leech, the locomotory organs are not found or totally absent. The locomotion is exhibited by swimming, by the lateral undulations of the body like this, or by crawling movement with the help of the suckers. That can be even called as a looping movement. So that is found in the leech, though the locomotory organs are absent in it, which is an example for what? The parasite. Then the excretory organs are the nephridia. As I said earlier, nephridia are the excretory organs, not only helpful in removing the excreta, but also helpful in what? The regulating the water balance in the body, and hence it is always true that the excretory organs are not only the excretory organs, but they are also the osmoregulation in function or osmoregulators. Then the circulatory system is of closed type. The circulatory system is concerned with what? Blood circulation. It is of the closed type. Remember, the circulatory system or the circulation is of two types, open type and closed type. Open type in the sense, if at all the blood doesn't flows with definite blood vessels or blood is filled with the blood spaces called the sinuses, then the surrounding tissues or the cells are bathed in blood. Then it is called open type of circulatory system we find in arthropods. So if at all blood flows with no definite blood vessel, then it is open type. The typical example is arthropod. Then closed type means if the blood flows within definite blood vessel, then it is of closed type. So the closed type of circulatory system is found in all vertebrates including man. Here also it is having closed type of circulatory system. And remember, blood is what? Red in color. Why it is red? It is due to the presence of a conjugated protein or an iron pigment or a respiratory pigment by name hemoglobin. Here the hemoglobin is get dissolved in where? Plasma. That is the difference between the man and that of this annulin. For example, in man, the hemoglobin is present in where? RBC. RBC. But here, it is get dissolved in plasma. What is plasma? Plasma is nothing but the matrix of the blood. So, it is get dissolved in plasma. Because of this, the hemoglobin which is dissolved in plasma, blood is what? Red in color. And remember, hemoglobin is a respiratory pigment which supplies what? Oxygen to the body cells. Then the nervous system, of course, is considerably developed. It consists of the brain and the top, the many ganglia like this. The ganglion is a knot-like structure from which what arise? The nerves arise. And remember, it has double ventral nerve cord. Remember, the nerve cord is present dorsally in case of the vertebrates. Here our nerve cord. But here, the nerve cord is ventral and it is two. And these two ventral nerve cords are joined together or united together by means of what? The ganglion. And from ganglion what arise? The nerves arise. So totally we can say the nervous system consists of brain with the double ventral nerve cord and then the ganglia and the nerves. The typical examples are earthworm, which is a bisexual and a terrestrial form, and it is commonly known as the friend of a farmer, as it enriches the soil fertility by its worm castings. Nereis is an unisexual form and is a marine form. Leech is a bisexual form, lives in the freshwater bodies, but it is a parasite, ectoparasite, feed upon the blood of vertebrates. So these are the three common examples for the phylum Annelida. With this, the phylum Annelida is completed. In the next class, I will take up the next phylum, that is Arthropoda. Thank you, Ananda.